Wicked, 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 wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
Okay, this is all we do here. We just go like this, and we go home. You videoed it, so it happened.
Wait, so to recap though, those two exercises over there.
Yeah, so those two exercises I would, just like I'm a fan of starting with a press and a fly, and I'm a fan of pairing flies and presses all the time. Very rarely, well, you'll see later on, maybe near the end of the workout, I'll pair a press with a press. Not like, it's hard to explain. In my mind, I view presses as a lot more straining on the body and incorporating a lot more shoulder. Like I'm asking a lot of my shoulder all the time, so I don't want to like overdo presses because I'm just trying to hit chest. I don't want to over fucking fire front delt all the time, the whole workout, to the point where like my front delt is getting fried and my chest is getting like 3/4 of the rep. I'd like to get like 90% of the rep if I could. So when I come in here now, I would do a standing fly, just because now my shoulder has the ability. I have the ability now to retract shoulders. So to other people might not look much, but like if my left shoulder can get back this much and my right shoulder's back this much, I'm in a good spot. My chest is so far out in front of me. So this is where my starting spot would be. And my weight's down. So if you literally had like a fucking broom or a stick, my weight's like on that pressure here. I'm not up here going like this. I'm putting my weight down on something. So this pressure of my chest and my weight here is right here. It's not way out there or like on my hands. These just happen to set as if I had a chest supported row, right? In mid-air here. I'm literally putting my chest on that mid-supported row and then opening up here. So I'm squeezing my back and engaging my lats, pulling my elbows in as tight as I can to keep the lat engaged. And then from there I find my angle. So for a lot of guys with shoulder issues, this angle is bad. This angle is fucking horrible. So why don't I lock into where I feel pec grab here. So I'm in a quarter rep and I'm gonna rock out and then slide. But all the while my weight stays here. So I'm just hand grabbing, shoulder retracting, throwing hand out. And if you're doing it right, you shouldn't be able to do this. No clapping. I'm not trying to bang handles together. Just be like, oh, I got 2 reps. You bang 3 times. It's like they should never touch if you're doing it right. So in a sense, I'm opening up wide swinging shoulders and lats back, rolling through. So it almost looks like if I exaggerate, I'm flying through things, but I'm keeping maintaining that range and just being here. And a lot of guys have an issue. I noticed some guys I train, they can't keep my hand is like this on that cable. So it's across my palm, literally straight across. All I do is manipulate my wrist to be able to hold that at whatever angle I want it to be at, right? Well, a lot of people, they'll grab this handle and it'll be diagonal. And it's just, they think they're just swinging this cable around. So they're making there's no dexterity here. There's no mobility in this wrist. It's just get my wrist in this lock position and go and push around it and use this as leverage to almost throw, right? At no point am I pushing on the canvas to do a rep. This is the same as me grabbing dumbbells. So I'm holding the dumbbells like I would across the flat plane, if that's the top of the dumbbell. I'm just rolling up through here, wherever I want to be. If I want to tuck them underneath, I'm still flat, rolling here, or coming around, but my wrist accommodates. So when I go to fire, my wrist catches and moves like this. I don't have to be like, you guys have to understand, in girls, there's all these levers in your arm. My shoulder does all these motions, goes back and forth around all this stuff. My elbow does this, moves in different directions, externally, internally rotates. It does all this shit, right? So does my wrist. But everyone's forgotten that the wrist does shit. Oh, it's this tiny little joint. You just have to like lock it into place. So we wrist wrap our hands that we can't move them. So like just these 2 joints can move. So it's like my hands is this fucking claw that doesn't move. It's like every time I do a rep, my hands are breathing and pressing. So I'm catching with hand, my wrist is rolling back, I'm pressing through hand. If I don't have this ability to move my wrist, like even on this, we'll combine this with a press. If I kept this stiff wrist mentality, which everyone has, it's either like punching over, like we see where wrist is stacked right here and we're kind of like, there's no bending, there's no fall back, there's no false grip allowed, like it's just this, just pull this thing back, push it out. You can see it's all shoulder because it's above, it's across the upper chain of the body, right? So if I do the same here, this sheet's too low, but fuck it. I'm in here and I lock shoulders down and I tuck lats in to elbows. All I'm doing is letting that hand, so I'm accommodating because this hand's moving. It's moving and catching and throwing my shoulder back, pushing. So this roll of my wrist and roll of and dropping my elbow allows for the chest to lift higher and the shoulder to retract more. Because there's not this strain on the elbow pushing me forward into weights, right? So when you get to a certain depth there, it's like, the shoulder has to do more. So I'm gonna stay tall above my press, catch, pause, lean my weight back. So I'm catching here, I'm catching weight in my palm, launching my palm off. So that's why I say when you're pressing with palm all the time, we're trying to get you to literally make your first movement that. So if there was no bar on there's no handle on my hand, my impact out of the bottom would be boom, boom, every time I hit the bar. But I'm attached to a bar, so all you see is this. But it would be that much force every time I hit, right? I don't think people make that they make that visual connection, tell them to push with their hands, and they're like, okay, it's like let all the weight sit on your hand and lock the rest of your body down in a stable braced position and allow your hands to do the work, right? There's no right or wrong way to do a fly. There's no right or correct or incorrect angle because everyone's different. My angles that I'm doing here, I prefer honestly to do, I'm showing you a different version, but I would prefer to be even tighter and I would honestly just roll over shoulders. So I don't have much arm extension, I'm just rolling shoulders and rocking through. So I'm grabbing pec with index finger and thumb area and I'm rolling over my press. Because I find when I get too long and press, my shoulder hurts. But I understand where my tension is, so I can do these miniature, minute movements because I know I'm on chest right now because I can literally feel my chest grab right there. I can feel it grab. If I squeeze my pec right now, my hand comes down. So I know where my pec is. So I can move off there. Rocking here and shorten the range and get more contraction focused and then control my negative to a range that I can handle, right? So if you find that this rolling over or this short press into the midline feels better, do it. Because we're all built different. There's no one way to do shit. As much as we make fun of people or joke around, there's a million ways to do shit. And you're seeing guys that have world-class chests and they literally take this fucking cable off and you'd be like, how do you do a fly? And this person has a crazy chest. And they probably literally walk out here and be like, they just be like, or some crazy thing, but they feel everything. So they feel every bit of that movement. So you can't go over and say that's wrong. I mean, maybe he's lacking areas that he would be able to hit if he opened up a little more, but you can't go over and say it's wrong. It's not, because look at his chest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we officially train chest. And the first two exercises were the panada, kind of press fly, you could call it, and then the decline press. Like I said before, it's just, not everyone needs to warm up that way. It's probably a good idea, to be honest. You should drop those harder next time, dude. Damn. And it's just I'm saying, get the mobility and get the range in your shoulder, where there's shoulder retraction and the ability to move forward in your shoulder, especially if you have shoulder issues. But anyone should be doing that because it's going to elicit a better workout for you, get more blood in the area, right? So I just do that to start things off, and then I come into this room and I just did another plus fly. So I'm always combining presses and flies. The next video we do, we'll show you how we can combine two presses at a time. So we'll probably pick a prime press with another prime press, and maybe the standing press with a kind of seated decline press. Just combine presses and presses. So this is the fly press video. Combo, deadly combo.